Hello everybody and welcome to another installment of Halfbaked Fantasy. And it has been such a long time since we have done an episode. In fact, so long that, I think you have an idea of how long it took to get from here. My hair was like, I think here before, and now it's like all the way down to my shoulders. Once you get used to the barbershops being closed, you just don't feel like cutting it. And honestly, I'm so used to it at this point that cutting it would make me feel kind of weird. I don't know. I'm going to see how long, this is more maintenance. I don't know if I'm going to cut it. I don't know when. At some point I probably will. But for this episode, I just wanted to show you how long it's been. We've just been in like damage control mode. So busy. The shutdowns just had like a ripple effect through everything that we do and everything that we were trying to do. And we've just been incredibly busy. Couldn't spare any time to sit down and make content like this and interact with our audience and share, our love for this hobby with the rest of the world, But I like doing these sorts of episodes because they're fun, they're therapeutic, and when after you've just been busy for so long, it's nice to just sit down and open a big box of plastic dinosaurs. Speaking of, convention season was a huge loss for these last several months. More or less canceled. But convention season is back on, and we are going to be at the Chicago Toy Show this upcoming weekend, October 24th and 25th. Chicago Toy Show is one of the largest toy shows in the country. Building upon building with just nothing but toys. You never know what you're going to find there. You can find new toys, vintage stuff, and Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman toys, which myself and our partner, Otakumerica, will be bringing to you. Be sure to check out the links and information below. We hope to see you there. And you will most likely see most of these toys there as well. But without any further ado, let us introduce the star of today's show, the box. It's not one of our larger boxes that we usually get, like not one of the crate-sized ones, but this sucker is heavy and it is packed. We've had to be really patient with the shipping situation, and our vendors have been patient with us as well. The people who help us get product, the people we buy it from. Like the shops have allowed us to, and vendors have allowed us to store things for a longer period, and they've allowed us to split things up a little more. And we've had no choice because like shipping costs have more or less doubled. And it's easy to see why. But we don't have a lot of inventory coming in after this. We've sort of been, bringing it in a la carte after it was stored. But this is a pretty good box, and I thought this would be a good one to share. We don't unbox, just full disclosure, we don't unbox, everything on camera. But every once in a while, we do that because it's just fun to share. But let's get this thing open and see what Toku treasures await. Okay, we've got our scissors. Let us make the first incision. I've said it before, one of the most fun things about being a dealer, toy dealer in like, I think any genre really, is that when you get inventory in, it feels like Christmas every time you do. Okay, so per usual, I am always surprised by how much I can fit into like even the largest boxes that we have, and you pretty much have to. Whether you're collecting or importing to sell, you have to think about how you want to pack your orders really carefully. And I'll say that our vendors have always done a really good job with helping us out. And I see something on top that I think would be a great candidate to start with. So without any further ado, whoa, okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so per usual, I'm always surprised by how much is in the boxes that we get. And our vendors do a fantastic job of packing things efficiently. Because you have to. When you import, you always have to be concerned about that, because you want to make sure that you're not having to overcharge for what you take in later because you paid too much for shipping. And per usual, I'm impressed. Always impressed. And I see something on top that I think would be a great candidate to start with. So our first figure today is going to be the Marmot Vinyl Paradise 1998 Godzilla. This guy is probably the most popular one out of the line besides maybe Mega Neuron. Actually, no, I take that back. Frankenstein is also really popular. There's a few from that line that people really like, but generally the line receives kind of like mixed enthusiasm. But what I will say is that their Sofubi figures are really beefy. This guy is about like a foot tall, and he's got a real humanoid appearance to him, and I think most of the kaiju in that series do. And he's one of the more coveted ones, definitely. He is rather rare, and rare for a couple reasons. I'd say number one, he just doesn't come up for sale very often, and number two, this is the only Sofubi that I am aware of the 1998 Godzilla character, you know? Let me know if there's another version out there. I'd be very curious to know. But yeah, that's why this one is coveted. And I don't know if you can't see too well through the bag, but I think you get an idea. Yeah, like the spines are there. The color scheme is generally there. It's like a metallic purple and metallic blue with yellow eyes. He's pretty cool. I thought about keeping one before because we've only gotten one of these in stock previously. But I'm very picky about what I bring in just because space, even with our new move, is still a concern. And I think you should never bring anything in your collection unless you absolutely love it. And while I do love it, I'm not quite there yet on this guy. So I'm going to pass this on. We'll bring this to the Chicago Toy Show next weekend. And hopefully it'll still be there when you arrive, whoever you are. But yeah, really cool toy, man. Really cool toy. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so in this case we have doubles. I don't know if there are any more down there of this particular Sofubi, but I've got two of them right here. I've got one that's unwrapped and one that is still wrapped. We'll just focus on this one. Let me see if I can take it out of the bag so you can see it a little better. This is just an outer bag, not like a packaging bag. Yeah, that works out fine. This, I believe this is correct, this is made by the Mego Company. And this is from 1975. Let me see if you can see that a little better. There you go. This is basically the poster version of the, is it 75? Or is it 76? I can't remember. The 70s version of King Kong, you know, where he's, I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it right up here on the card. And you can see it there on the back too. Where he's got like, you know, this big gaping mouth and I think a slightly more humanoid face. There's not many versions of that, but Japan did a couple. But this one's probably the closest that you'll get. In the poster, he's like holding, I think like a jet or something. But here he's like holding some like generic silver race car. He's about like 5 inches tall or so. But he's a really cool Sofubi, and he's really hard to find on the bag and on the card. But we've got a couple of these. I really like this one. I think I have another one for sale. I might keep one for the collection just because I think King Kong is my favorite kaiju. Maybe it shifts every now and then, but this is a really, really neat piece of like toy history here. And a version of King Kong that is not widely used really in any merchandising format besides the, you know, posters and t-shirts. Really cool toy. We'll have a couple of these available this upcoming weekend for sale. One of my personal favorites, this silhouette cannot be mistaken for anything else. I know it all too well. It is, oh good, we can get it out of the bag there. It is Reptilicus. The goofy Danish kaiju. It was Denmark, wasn't it? It was Denmark. I think it was. It's like, he's just like this goofy like string puppet that goes around like spitting like acid or slime on people. It's a really cheesy movie. Here you can see the poster art for that. This figure is like going on 21 years old. This is from Wonderfest 2000. There are a couple variants of this. I've had several over the years. They are rare, but I've managed to get a hold of these a few times. There is a yellow-eyed variant and a red-eyed variant of this color scheme. And there is a glow-in-the-dark version of this, which we actually will have for sale, and I actually have one of those in my collection. It's really, really cool. Glows like no one's business. You've got glowing plastic, and you've got glowing paint. Looks really cool. But a lot of people prefer this one more because it's more accurate to how the character looked. But a really, really cool Sofubi. Try to pick them up whenever I can. I just like having them. But yeah, all the way back from the year 2000. Jeez. But it looks great for its age, huh? Oh. I just pulled another one of those King Kongs out of there. Like I said, I don't know if we have any more, but we've got 3 of these things. We lucked out big time. Can't remember what the situation was there. It was like a new old stock scenario where there was like an old case of them. What do we have here? Oh, okay, I'll share this with you. This is actually something for my wife. Here, I'll show you what one of the boxes look like. She's a big Sailor Moon fan, and there was actually a live-action version of Sailor Moon, and you can see right here, I think it's, Sailor... Can you focus on that? There we go. Sailor Mars. They did a live-action version of it, and there were even, like, live musical shows of this thing, like almost Broadway style, Japanese Broadway style, and Bandai made figurines of these characters, and they're actually really cool, I think. Yeah, here we got, I think I've got all the Sailor Scouts in here. Let's see if we can get that into focus. Yeah, there's Sailor Moon right there, just to give you an idea. They don't have, there we go, focus. They don't have any articulation. They just stand upright. But, yeah, there's a lot of detail in these things. And they're really hard to find. And I wanted to make sure that I got my wife a full set just because of the sheer novelty that there was a live-action Sailor Moon. Go check out clips on YouTube. It's seriously funny and goofy. And just like Kamen Rider and Power Rangers, it's full of like weird gadgets that they want to sell as toys. So there's always a new power-up or something, a new morphing device that will inevitably make them millions of dollars for the next season of the show. But let's move on. Just in time for the holiday season. Everyone's favorite Frankenstein. Heck no. But for us tokusatsu fans, Frankenstein versus Baragon is legendary. And this is the Marmot version, or is this M1? Yep, this is M1. This is the M1 version of Frankenstein. Yeah, he's goofy. They even added the detail of like the sandals on the feet. He came in a 2-pack, from my understanding, with Baragon, which we do actually have. We actually have the standalone Baragon, and we have this guy, so I guess now we have a set. I actually have one of these guys in my collection. I really dig that movie. I think it's one of the better non-Godzilla movies out there. It's a lot better than people give them credit for. War of the Gargantuas is by far a superior film, but the goofiness of this movie cannot be understated. It's a really fun watch. Consider it, if you haven't watched it, maybe on Halloween, throw it on, see how you feel. I think you can watch it on Amazon Prime right now, actually. But yeah, awesome Sofubi. I think we actually, why don't we just get out of the way? I think we actually have some other comrades to join him. Just a moment. We have the Vinyl Paradise version of Frankenstein. This one is far more grotesque looking. If you don't know, in the movie, spoiler alert, Frankenstein starts off small and then gradually gets bigger over time. He starts off as just like literally a pulsing, disembodied heart. And then he grows into basically like a child and then into a giant monster that inevitably fights another giant monster. Yeah, these came 2-packed, so they are set. This one is a lot more grotesque looking, and in some ways I like this one better. Here, let me show you these two for comparison. So the Vinyl Paradise one is a little bit taller. I would say that this one is probably more accurate overall, but the Vinyl Paradise one, let me see if we can get that in focus. Focus. Yeah, come on. You can do it. There you go. This one is far more grotesque looking, I think, and there is definitely appeal there. Whereas this one, the M1 version, is a lot softer, I'd say much more friendly looking. So Give me focus. There we go. So it's up to you. I think either one is a great choice for your collection, but you got options here. There's also, I will say, the level of detail in both of them is really exceptional. Yeah, this Vinyl Paradise version is definitely one of the more coveted in the line, and this guy is really tough to find on his own. There's not many versions of Frankenstein at all. He's a woefully underserved character. And sure enough, whenever X Plus or Bandai, when they released theirs, they sold out almost immediately. I believe the reason why was because there was a licensing conflict for the actor who actually portrayed Frankenstein, and that's why they don't do him too often. Food for thought. Anyway, let's move on. Interesting. I remember what this is for. Just a moment. I have only seen this guy in person once. One time. This thing is incredibly rare. Oh, wow. I dig it. This is really cool. Okay, hold on. Enough gushing over it. This is the Marusan Champion Festival Godzilla. This was released only one time. I don't remember the year. Let's see if we can look up the year. 2006. This is based on the 1962 Godzilla. And this sculpt here is actually based on a logo that Marusan has for Godzilla. This is the only one of its kind. It was released one time. If it's been reissued, let me know in the comments, but to my knowledge, it was a one-time release, and it was only available at the Champion Festival in Japan. And it's a pretty big sofubi, and it's not too often that you see Godzilla in a dynamic pose like this. But yeah, this base is part of the logo art, actually. The only time I've ever seen this in person was my friend Alex's collection. Also known as Alexander the Swell. He is hilarious. I'll throw a link down in the description below so you can check out some of his content. But one of the first times that we hung out, he's like, I want to look for a little toilet for this Godzilla to sit on because, out of context, he could be squatting and taking a big old turd. A big old BM, Godzilla-sized BM. And we actually found one at a thrift store. So instead of this, he displayed his Godzilla with the toilet under the tail. Very sophomoric, juvenile humor, but hey, whatever floats your boat. I would really like to keep this guy in the collection. I am on the fence about selling him, honestly. Now that I have him in hand, this guy's really, really tough to find, especially with the base. I have to think about it. But I'm a seller first, collector second. Such is my curse. Here we have a figure that is legendary. Legendary because it depicts a legendary human being. The M1 Haruo Nakajima Godzilla figure. It is the blue variant. This has been released a few times. Let me see. This one, this is... I don't know if they changed the copyright year for the new releases, but this one says that it came out in the year 2000, and I believe that's true because there was a brown variant and a bluish variant, which is what this is. Actually, let me check. I got one in my collection here. Yeah, I can't remember. I believe this is the original version, and it's in really good shape. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. For context, the very first 1954 Godzilla suit that Super Eye Productions made for the 1954 movie was far too heavy. It was too bulky and stiff. They hadn't really figured out how to do a full latex suit for dynamic movement, and there was definitely a learning curve. So rather than throw it away completely, they decided to cut it in half and use it for close-up scenes for Godzilla's feet, stomping through buildings and stuff. And Nakajima liked doing this because he wouldn't be, completely engulfed by this humid, this humid, gross suit that, was soaking up sweat and rubbing on his skin. For those close-up shots, he could just put on these suspender straps and, walk around on set with just the lower half. And yeah, he wouldn't have to subject himself to that torture. And yeah, it was torture, especially for the first movie. The hot lights combined with that giant latex suit. Temperatures exceeded well over 100 degrees in that thing. And it's just amazing what not just Nakajima went through, but what all kaiju suit actors go through to entertain us. It's dangerous, difficult work, and there's very few people who would actually do it when it came down to it. But yeah, this is a great figure to have. I actually have a signed one up there, the brown variant from the initial release that's signed on the back with Nakajima. This figure is fantastic, and if you're just starting to like get into Sofubi, this is a really great one to start with. They can be pricey, but this figure is just absolutely iconic. For an iconic human being and an absolute tour de force in the genre of tokusatsu. A Ban Presto Gamera soap dispenser. Well, to be honest, you could put anything you want in here. You could put shampoo, conditioner, lotion, as long as it can, you know, be dispensed through something like this. I mean, heck, you could even do ketchup if you wanted to. Go ahead and use this for condiments. It's all fine. It's just this blow mold thing. Oh, actually, wait. I'm sorry. This is not Ban Presto. This is made by Rocket Pro, it says. This would have been a claw game prize. There is a Barugun that does go with this, but most people are content with Gamera. We actually have one of these in our bathroom as well. I am puzzled by this. I do not recognize this box. I don't know if the vendor used it for something else. We're gonna have to open this up. I really don't know what this is. I can't read Japanese very well, so... It is the Universal Studios exclusive King Kong. This is based on the Kongfrontation rides. There was another version, title version of that, but I can't remember. Feel free to let me know in the comments what the other version was. But Universal Studios Florida, California, and Japan had this ride. And if you are too young to have experienced it, you can watch, you can see this stuff on YouTube, and it was a terrific ride. You would go like on this rail system, and you'd be like in a trolley car, and Kong would, you know, pick up the trolley and shake it and try to swat it out. This is a cool figure. It did come on like in like a small box. That's not the real box that it came with, but it was kind of a missed opportunity because his hands are posed in such a way that, you know, you could put like a trolley between them. I don't know. There's not many. There's honestly not very many licensed King Kong figures out there, and because this one's a Universal Studios exclusive and exclusive to Japan, this one tends to go for a little more money. But I think it's really cool, and if you're a fan of, it's a double-edged sword. You know, like if you're a fan of Kong and you're a fan of theme park attractions, this would have been like the ultimate souvenir for that ride. Really dig it. Very cool. One of my favorite Bandai figures, and in my opinion, one of the best Bandai figures ever made. Honestly, Bandai really hit it out of the park with some of these later movie monster figures that they did. It is... Haha! Monster X. There are not many versions of Monster X out there. I believe... Focus there. There you go. I believe X Plus did one. Yeah, X Plus did one like sometime last year. That one was really fantastic, but if I'm being honest with you, like this is a really, really detailed Bandai figure. It's so well done. They captured everything, and honestly, if they were to make this today, they'd probably charge you $200 for it or something like that. This guy is really rare, especially with the tag. There are very few versions of Monster X out there. He's a woefully, woefully underserved character design. I know he was very brief, but he made quite an impression. He was a great third act monster to do. Most people tend to seek this guy out. I have the Giga Brain version of Monster X, which I really dig, but if I'm being honest with you, like, the Bandai version is probably better. If you're going to seek out one, I would say seek out the Bandai I'm sorry, the Bandai movie monster version here, or seek out the X Plus. Honestly, both are exceptional figures. It is the 2003 Godzilla from Bandai. This is a theater exclusive, and this is still like the 8-inch, 9-inch series. They don't make them this scale anymore. This is a really neat colorway. They did a couple. Wait, how many versions did they do? They do like 1, 2. There might be like 3 or 4 versions of this thing. I think we even have a clear variant of it. Yeah, there's like 2 clear variants, and there's like a version, yeah, with the atomic spines, which is this one. It's hard for me to keep track, but you had to be at the theater when the movie came out to acquire these. That's why they tend to command like a slightly higher price point, and that's also another sub-genre to this hobby, you know, collecting theater exclusives. But yeah, here, we'll zoom in on him real quick. Look at him, come on, focus. There you go. Beautiful, very neat. He's got the scar detail from when he fought Mecha Godzilla. Very neat. All right, everybody. Well, that's gonna wrap up this unboxing video. Thank you so much for stopping by today. And be sure to check out the information below for Chicago Toy Show, where we will have a tokusatsu and sofubi mega booth this upcoming Saturday and Sunday, October 24th and 25th. And be sure to bring a mask and hand sanitizer, because those guidelines will be in effect. But we promised that it's going to be a good time and it's going to be a safe time. But until next time, everybody, keep living your half-baked fantasy and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.